What's going on? It's Jeremy with the Barbecue Pirate. I'm so excited to be bringing you our very first inaugural episode here on the Barbecue Pirate. Do us a favor, like, comment, subscribe. We're going to be bringing out tons of awesome tips, tricks, and recipes that you can use to wow your friends and make your friends ask you, when are you going to open a restaurant? So, man, we're excited about this. Got lots of awesome content coming your way, but the very first episode, we had to do a beautiful brisket flat. Today, we're going to be working with a 5.5 or 6 pound brisket flat. And so the first thing that we're going to do, and this is the first thing you're ever going to want to do when you're working with a piece of brisket, and that is going to be to trim the fat. Now, if you leave all that fat on there, it's gonna leave some really fatty bites and kind of discolor the flavor a little bit. So you're going to want to definitely trim that down. Now, don't take it all off because we want to leave some of that fat on there for that flavor, and we want to leave some of that fat on there because it just makes really nice pieces. But you're definitely going to want to trim it down. It's going to give you a better cooked brisket. It's going to cook more evenly, and it's going to taste a lot better for the people that you're feeding. And when you're talking about either a 6 pound brisket flat, or you're talking about a whole brisket, 14, 15 pounds, whatever it is, then you're definitely talking about having a party. So today we're going to actually do something I have never done before, and that is to brine the brisket. I found a really cool recipe on Traeger Grills. You can check them out, traegergrills.com, and they have a brined brisket recipe. So now tomorrow for the dry rub, I'm going to be using the Buccaneer dry rub. That's and we'll talk a lot about those dry rubs that we use here at Barbecue Pirate. But so for the dry rub, we're going to use the Buccaneer dry rub. But for the brine, we're going to use Traeger's recipe, and it's really, really simple. You just get 2 quarts of water boiling on the stove, and then you're going to add half a cup of kosher salt and 2 cups of brown sugar, and you're going to stir that until everything is dissolved and mixed really good, and there's not any granules left from that salt or from that sugar. It's going to come out in a nice caramel brown color. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your brisket, you're going to put it fat side down, and then you're going to put it, once it's trimmed and everything like that, either put it like in a baking pan or whatever's big enough to hold it. And so since this one's not a huge one, that'll be pretty easy to find. I meant to mention, once you get done making the brine, 2 quarts water, half a cup of kosher salt, 2 cups of brown sugar, dissolve all that, get all the granules out of it. You're going to want to put 6 cups of ice in there because you don't want to sous vide, since the water was hot, you don't want to begin to cook your meat. So you're going to want to cool that water off really good with that ice, stir it until the ice dissolves, and then you're going to pour it over the brisket, just get it completely covered all the way to the brim. I decided to cover it first with cling wrap and then finish it off with aluminum foil. That way I can lock everything in there, and it kind of helped hold the brisket down just a little bit. And then we're going to stick that bad boy in overnight, and then tomorrow we're going to get that thing rolling in some smoke. All right, now that we got that bad boy rubbed down really good, and it's, man, I tell you what, it's looking good. I think it's going to turn out really tender. We're going to throw it on my master-built pellet grill and set that bad boy at about 245 or 250, and we're going to take off from there. Also decided to go ahead and fire up my smoke tube as well. It should run about 4 hours completely packed with pellets. And so we're going to add that in there to just get that extra bit of smoke flavor on this brisket. All right, the pellet tube is in, the brisket is on, the smoke is rolling. We're going to spritz it with some apple juice and apple cider vinegar mix once every hour to help lock in some of that moisture and to keep it moist. Brisket's got a tendency to try to get dry on you, so if you spritz it with that apple cider vinegar and apple juice mix, you shouldn't have any problems. And then when it gets about 165, we're going to wrap it in some butcher paper, and we're just going to keep trucking from there. All right, so I'm at 165 internal. Time to wrap this bad boy up. Gonna take it out. It's looking really, really good. Really, really moist and tender. And so gonna wrap this up with some parchment paper. I know some people prefer butcher paper, but I just really haven't found it to make a difference one way or the other on my briskets. All right, now we've got it wrapped. We're gonna throw it back on the smoker, and we're gonna wait until it gets to about 200 or 202 internal, and then we're gonna pull it off, have that rest period, and be ready to eat. This has been a long process, and that brisket is looking delicious. It's smelling delicious. So anyway, excited about getting this bad boy off and getting a taste. So anyway, it's wrapped, it's back on, and I'm ready for it to come back off. All right, we're there. Time to go ahead and pull this brisket off of the smoker. I'm going to leave it wrapped, and I'm going to wrap it in some aluminum foil because we're not going to eat for another couple of hours, and so I want to keep it warm. Plus, anytime you have a brisket, you want to let it rest because if you let it rest, you're gonna lock in those juices. If you cut it too early, all that juice, all that moisture, all that goodness is going to spill out all over your cutting board, and your brisket's going to get dry. So always let your brisket rest. So I've wrapped it, and I'm going to let it rest, and then we're going to cut this open and give it a try. How'd it turn out? Well, I'm not a huge fan. First off, kind of a really hard salty flavor, and I think that is from the brine, and really dry. So I think what happened is as it brined, it sucked a lot of the moisture out. Like I said, I thought it was kind of a weird concept to brine a brisket, but I definitely wanted to give it a shot, and there were some good reviews on it. So I don't know, maybe I messed something up somewhere. I don't know. I'm not an expert, and that's not what this channel is about. It's about just kind of experiencing barbecue together. And so but a little bit dry, good flavor, but the crust didn't set up quite right, and then also just a little bit drier than I like. So anyway, it was fun, and I mean, definitely looking forward to doing some more briskets down the road. Hey, do us a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share this video around to your friends, and let us know what you might want us to do on the next video. Until then, we'll see you around.